Iron Rattler at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas in San Antonio was RMC's second creation, and they did not hold back. Most manufacturers have sort of a rough start, such as B&M with Iron Wolf at Six Flags Great America, Intamin with Wilderness Run, formerly known as Gemini Jr., and even Vekoma with Super Warble at Holiday Park in Germany, which is no longer in operation. But RMC is different, and I dare to say that their second coaster is one of their best. So here's my review of Iron Rattler at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas. At 179 feet tall, Iron Rattler dominates Six Flags Fiesta, Texas, being the tallest coaster in the park. The coaster looks over the entire park from over the quarry, and you can see everything in the park from its highest point. With a lot of RMCs standing between 100 and 150 feet, Iron Rattler isn't even close to being considered a smaller RMC. Going off of height, Iron Rattler's drop is amazing. In the back row, you get whipped over and to the side, and as you level out, you get whipped over to the other side with an incredible dose of laterals and an insane head chopper. Iron Rattler has to be one of the most menacing roller coasters I've ever seen, and most of that has to do with its height and the work with the quarry. I'm going to give Iron Rattler a 9 out of 10 for height. It's insanely tall for what it is, but keep in mind that there are RMCs that are almost 30 feet taller, such as Steel Vengeance, Iron Gwazi, and Zadra. Iron Rattler doesn't fall back in speed at all, and with its fastest point being in sort of a covered tunnel, it makes it seem a lot faster than 70 miles per hour. You have a roof only feet away from your hands, and you have the side of the quarry directly to your right. It provides a similar feeling to Boulder Dash, where on that coaster there are rocks and trees flying past you. Iron Rattler has very good pacing until you reach the part on top of the quarry. After you hit that 0G roll, the ride loses a lot of its speed. Not to worry though, because it does gain it again eventually. People complain about this part of Iron Rattler the same way that they complain about Wicked Cyclone's third lap. A common claim is that this part has no airtime, and personally, I do not see it. I don't know if I just happen to get good rides on Iron Rattler, but I doubt that because I rode it in 2015 and twice in 2016, so I don't know. I remember the top of the quarry being a highlight of the ride, every time. The mini wave turn had amazing laterals and ejector, and I had no problem with the pacing. I give Iron Rattler an 8.5 out of 10 for its speed, going an incredible 70 miles per hour, but it does lose a lot of it on the quarry. I didn't experience very many intense moments on Iron Rattler, but I did experience some amazing airtime, and that's what's going to put Iron Rattler ahead in the forces category. There are 4 distinct airtime moments on this coaster in my opinion. You have the first drop, the first step into the quarry, the mini wave turn, and obviously the drop off of the quarry. I talked a little bit about the first drop earlier, but let's go more in depth. This moment, like most airtime moments, is much better in the back row. You start by getting whipped over the drop and to the left, and then you twist yet again to the right with even more laterals as you level out. This drop has airtime the whole way down, and it's up there with Wicked Cyclone and Steel Vengeance's drop in my opinion. Now let's talk about the first step onto the quarry. This element follows the first drop, and I actually found this one better in the front. It's a sharp pop of ejector, but you also get pushed forward a little bit, and it's a kind of a unique experience that I don't quite know how to describe. After that, you hop up onto the quarry and go through a series of small airtime hills, the best of this being the mini wave turn. I know this element looks sluggish, but you get some of the most insane laterals and ejector ever. Okay, maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration, but it's seriously good. You get flung to the side, then before you can catch your breath, you're flung back to the other side. After this is the best airtime moment on Iron Rattler. It's the dive off of the quarry. This one is just amazing. You go from a very slow speed to being jerked over the top of the quarry. It's just amazing. I'm going to give Iron Rattler a 9.5 out of 10 for forces. This ride is jam-packed with ejector airtime and laterals, but remember that this category is for all forces, and with Iron Rattler lacking in positives, I had to take a half of a point off. Iron Rattler's theming is pretty good. As you probably know, Six Flags Fiesta, Texas is one of the best looking parks out there, with the obvious exception of Disney and Universal. Iron Rattler is located in the western section of the park, and this whole thing just looks amazing. The theme of the coaster is basic, but it works, and that theme is simply Rattlesnake. I know it sounds kind of dumb on paper, but I promise it works. The station is so awesome, the queue is cool, and the quarry wall right next to the coaster really sets the mood. Something else is that they play country music in the station, which is cool. The queue, the entrance, and everything else is good at building up for the actual ride experience. Iron Rattler doesn't really have any theming during the ride, but the view from the top more than makes up for it, because you can see the entire coaster in front of you, you can see the massive quarry wall to your right, and then you can see the entire park to your left. I think Iron Rattler deserves an 8.5 out of 10 for theming. The ride and everything around it looks absolutely incredible, but the theming is kind of basic and there's no elements of theming during the actual ride. Something interesting is that RMC didn't actually put their own trains on their coasters until Outlaw Run. The two coasters built prior to Outlaw Run were Iron Rattler and New Texas Giant, which have trains by Gerstlauer. Personally, I don't really have a preference between the Gerstlauer and actual RMC trains. Something cool about the Gerstlauer ones is that the restraints are just a T-bar with a shin guard, which is awesome because it feels way more open than the restraints on RMC's trains. All in all, the restraints feel really good. They're really comfortable, they allow for lots of airtime, and they feel very open. We're not done with this category though. Iron Rattler's train looks amazing. The front car has an awesome snake head, the back car has a snake tail, and the train has this awesome design all the way around. There is so much detail in these trains, and they look so amazing. I give Iron Rattler a 10 out of 10 for its trains and restraints. The restraints are flawless, allowing for awesome airtime, and the train looks amazing. After adding up and averaging out all 5 scores, Iron Rattler gets a final score of 9.1 out of 10. What do you think of Iron Rattler at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas? This is definitely one of my favorite coasters ever. So tell me in the comments below if you've been on it. Tell me your opinions on it. Anyways, this is CT Coasters, signing off.